everyone would like to go on all the way 100,000 years in the future. They want to live maybe the medieval times. They want to go back in time. They want to enjoy urban life.
So the awareness with science of even the tip of the toe, there's an awareness that we can develop, that sensitivity that we sometimes neglect. We forget, we pay all of our attention outside, but we don't really pay attention on the inside. Now with what we're discussing, I feel is we're paying attention as to what is happening inside on an individual basis. With this knowledge of conscience, consciousness, and awareness has war in it. It's an internal war of having its attention being attracted to the outside stimuli, or can I bring my awareness within to the smallest of particle that brings about stillness, that opens up maybe to a portal. Build a system that is aware of a person's state of being that may not be optimal for that person, and bring about, the system is able to bring about the tools necessary to create an optimal state, either through imagery, through, what do you think?
There is a way to simulate telepathy. Like what happens in the movies, if we pause the movie button, let's pause the scene, and I want to switch with the character who's performing, that can be simulated. Because of real-time rendering, I can take the place of the character which is performing, and I can switch it with my real interaction, what I want to do. For example, if there is a war scene, there are soldiers fighting with each other, there's armies, there are platoons, and you are watching a movie, and in that movie you see that the commander is a very healthy and strong person, and you want to be the commander. You just press a button, you switch the positions, you just become the commander, and then you can guide the whole war strategy. It's almost like exchanging the positions. As a VR support, if we go inside the virtual space and we are watching some kind of digital content which is being simulated as a war scene, and I can press a button and I can switch the places. So instead of watching the movie, I can be in the movie and I can take the role of a commander. And that can create itself another branch. Maybe the commander might want to go a specific way. That is how the strategy is built. You can go off strategy also. Maybe build a bunker, go underneath, or maybe have some air support to airlift the whole army and just put it on the enemy. So we can recreate the perspectives. We can recreate the choices, and those choices can be diversified. And that is one of the game-changing aspect of having a total freedom and a control.
I love that switching place from a viewer or an observer to becoming an actor, an active component or an active element in the unfolding story. That ability of putting yourself in somebody else's position is so powerful.
It's very powerful. It can unlock our neurons. There are lots of neurons in our brains which are not able to communicate. If they manage to communicate with each other, there is a higher possibility to unlock lots of abilities, let's say instincts. And a soldier knows how to defend himself, but a normal person does not. They are very vulnerable to attack. So if you are able to use the same instincts as a warrior on the battlefield has in normal pedestrian, the normal pedestrian can be a soldier within itself. You can empower the people. You can give them what they want. You can actually erase poverty. You can erase all abuse. And that what, diversifies us from our opponents. They are using all their technologies to show what are the benefits, but they are not actually changing them. They are showing what are the capabilities which are beyond our imagination, but they have to make a connection for like the person who is sitting on the ground who does not have information or knowledge. And illiterate people, if that illiterate people can be transformed and become one of the business leaders, can run his own company or business, that could be something breathtaking and changing in the human cycle, so that we all can accelerate with the same amount of growth that AI is getting. Human beings can overtake, and we are able to have 100% of our brain control. So there is still possibility to acquire that 95% of proportions that we still lack. And that's how we can reach our grand glory of destiny to be the super human beings. Like a super can be superhuman.
And just by putting someone in a state that is unreal,
Yeah.
will go beyond the techniques that I remember years ago as athletes visualized the performance prior to an event. Now actually having it in a VR, simulated in a VR environment, will further strengthen and fortify immensely, tenfold, compared to visual techniques that we were used to by having these VR tools.
It's an exponential growth. It's not an addition, it's going to be an exponentially, we will be benefited. And if everyone on this planet reaches his 100% efficiency of productivity with using all our brain power, with eating the same amount of food that everybody has, using the same resources that we are all using, not overusing those resources even, at the optimum level, there is a path forward. And we can just eliminate the whole bad stuff. And we will not be just a better world, we will the best world. There will be no need to have a competition even also.
Or separation, because we're unifying everything as one world.
And it can evolve so much for the goodwill that it can erase the need for borders also. One earth.